This is a bit of a random video, so I didn't really have time to look up any highlights. But this was surprising to me. This is from ESPN. In a mild surprise, Top Rank bid 1.625 million to narrowly outbid Hooker's co-promoter Matchroom Boxing, which submitted an offer of 1.55 million at the auction, which took place at the WBO offices and in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Hooker is entitled to 75% of the winning offer, career high $1.28750 million, basically $2 million, $1.21 million. And Saucedo getting the remaining 25% of career high $406,000. Minimum bid was $150,000. Typically, a promoter whose side gets 75% of the money wins the purse bid. But Top Rank right now is their future is bright. Showtime is there, yeah, but Showtime doesn't have the machine of Disney behind them. But guess what? Showtime is the brand where ESPN, the Zone, they want their fighters. For example, Top Rank tried to get Artur BF. Top Rank tried to get David Benavidez. I remember a couple of years ago they talked to Adrian Broner. You know, they have a lot of dates they have to fill. The same thing with the Zone. Showtime right now is doing their best to hang on to their boxers, but with their budget, you know, there are some restrictions. Now, I'm not saying that the Zone and Top Rank doesn't have budgets. After all, right now, I consider Showtime to be number one in regards to boxing, putting out boxing content, because they're consistent with it and they have all the boxers. And we've seen their growth from 2012 all the way up to this point. What was it, 2013, when Floyd Mayweather signed the contract, right? And now look at them. They're number one. When HBO, people were like, they'll never beat HBO. So looking at things now, where Top Rank is and the amount of money that they're putting up on this fight, by the way, it's supposed to take place on November the 10th or the 17th. The 17th, November the 17th. Top Rank on ESPN. Now, mind you, there could be another card on that date. Maybe a Spence Garcia or a Wilder Fury, maybe. There's a lot of competing dates going on with these different promoters. Things are getting really aggressive, you know, in regards to competition. So I want to say this. Go look at Maurice Hooker's last fight against Terry Flanagan. A fight that he won. It was a tough fight. And then go look at his fight. You can find it on Daily Motion. It was on the undercard of Ward Kovalev 1, I believe, where he fought Darlene Perez. And this was a gift. So he has gotten better since then, but I'm wondering how good he is really. I got a chance to talk to him at the Zone press conference. I wasn't really satisfied with the interview because I didn't do, an interview for like months. This was my first time getting back out there in the field. But nonetheless, I'm going to get around to uploading it, where I was questioning why isn't he in the World Boxing Super Series tournament. But before we get to that, here's Alex Saucedo, who's right now he's got a lot of buzz behind him because of his knockouts. In his last fight was a knockout, and they have this thing going on with him, Jose Ramirez, who's fighting Orozco, kind of a mini tournament. Let's go talk about it. So you have Maurice Hooker, who's fighting his mandatory, Alex Saucedo. Then you got Jose Ramirez, who's taking on Antonio Orozco. Regis Prograis, Josh Taylor, Krill Rolak, Eduard Troyanovsky, Ivan Burchek, Anthony Idjit, meaning fighting for this IBF title, is in the World Boxing Super Series. So what I'm saying is these guys are in a situation where they have to fight each other. By the way, you have Jack Catterall versus O'Hara Davis happening. So, by the way, you have what I was saying was you have Maurice Hooker, and Alex Saucedo, Jose Ramirez, and Antonio Orozco, who are in a mini tournament of their own. because the winner of the World Boxing Super Series within the next year, and if these guys all fight each other injury-free, then one of these fighters, I'm going to say right now, the World Boxing Super Series 140-pound tournament is supposed to start in September, October. Likely, it's looking like October, November, because they haven't announced anything yet. So the tournament will likely be over by September of next year, which would leave enough room for these guys. You know, as I mentioned, obviously we got Hooker Saucedo fighting in November. You know, when is Ramirez Orozco, which is also going to be on ESPN? Oh, let me go check. Damn, they treating him. They got him all the way down there, huh? Oh, because he's injured. I forgot he's on that break. September the 14th. So you would think that the winner of Ramirez Orozco and Hooker Saucedo would fight in no later than April of next year. You know, which would leave time for them to get a little break in and then wait for the winner of the World Boxing Super Series. If that doesn't go past, you know, September, but, you know, either way, the timeline still, you know, is still a little janky. But nonetheless, I'm excited to see the fight. I thought that Hearn was going to, you know, show some flex and win this purse bid. I mean, you can tell that, you know, they had a goal in to make sure they got Maurice Hooker a big payday. I mean, he's making $1 million. You know how hard it is to make $1 million in boxing? I mean, yeah, you may hear about Mayweather and all that, but that's rare. Canelo Golovkin, it's rare. You know, so for a fighter of the caliber, no disrespect, let's keep it funky. For the fight, a fighter of the caliber of a Maurice Hooker to be making, you know, $1.2 million in that minimum, top Matchroom is going to give him $1 million. That's a big deal. And even for Alex Saucedo, he's making $400. That's crazy. So the money is definitely in boxing. It's all for the all up to the boxers to keep it there, and for the promoters to put on the best possible fights they can put on. Anyway, in TstreeT Controversy, this is TstreeT Controversy Live. Please subscribe. I cover every single major fight live. All the links to my social media, obviously, has been popping up, and we're moving forward.